Welcome to Voices of Medfield, a Medfield TV original podcast brought to you by the MFI Legacy Fund. I'm your host, Katie Duvall. Voices of Medfield highlights the stories of the people who have woven their lives into the fabric of the community. They are the friends you made in school, the business owners who greet you each morning, and the families who have built their lives here. Each guest is interviewed by the people who know them best, their loved ones, their friends, and their neighbors. Together, they reflect on childhood memories, new beginnings, the impact they've made on this town, and the hopes they have for its future. Today, we're joined by Ann Thompson and her daughter, Barbara Gips. Ann shares how she took up space where few women had served before her and helped open doors for those who would follow. Now, let's hear Ann's story on Voices of Medfield.
Hi, this is Barbara Gips, and I am interviewing my mother, Ann Thompson, of Medfield. So, Mom, you grew up and were born in Philadelphia. Tell me a little bit about growing up there.
I love that city. Absolutely. I would love to go back again and see what it looks like today. But I love that city of Philadelphia. I went to grammar school there. I went to high school at Mount St. Joseph Academy. And then I all-girls Catholic school. And then I went to an Ivy League university at Penn, and I loved going to Penn. Oh, God, I loved it.
So tell me what your family life was like when you were growing up.
I had a wonderful family. I had my father was a dentist, and he worked very, very hard, and he did a lot of free dental work for people. I was so impressed. My sister and I didn't know how much he had done for other people till he died, and all these strangers showed up at his funeral. And they said they were so grateful to me and my sister for having such a wonderful father because he gave so much time to them at free dental work. He was a wonderful guy. My mother was wonderful, too. I'm very lucky. We lived in a solid middle-class neighborhood. All new houses in the far end of Philadelphia, in the northwest corner. They're all new, and we had wonderful neighbors. I was so lucky to have so much good going on in my life.
And you lived next door to the Driscolls, Robert Driscoll was one of your best friends.
Robert Driscoll was my cousin.
I know, but he was a good friend.
Oh, he's more than that. Robert Driscoll was, but we didn't live next door to each other, though. We lived around the corner. But Robert Driscoll was very close. That's why my parents started me in school a year early to be with Robert, my cousin Robert, because we were so close. And we were in each other's wedding party. We were very close till the day he died. He's a wonderful guy.
And who were your best friends growing up?
Oh, my God. Barbara Sullivan, Marlene McCluskey, Rosemary Hayes. Oh, my God, you want the whole list?
No, just the ones that were your best friends.
Well, those three are right at the top of my list. They're wonderful.
And they were from school or from your neighborhood?
They lived in my neighborhood, and I went to the same school. And they went to the same all-girls high school. And
what did you do for fun, Mom, growing up?
For fun? Not much.
You had to have done something.
My mother was very big on, if you must do this, do it and do it now when I tell you. Though I had a wonderful time growing up because we lived in such a lovely neighborhood. We could play outside all the time. We never had to worry about anything going on because the neighborhood was so solid, so safe. Very, very lucky. I count my blessings every time. Think of how lucky I was.
And this is maybe a tough question. What historical event do you most remember going on when you were growing up?
Historical event?
Yep.
Oh, World War II.
And how did that impact your life, if at all?
I remember World War II when it started because we were out in the backyard playing ball with my friends. It was a Sunday, and we were playing ball, and Tommy McCann came running out and said, "Girls, get in the house, we're going to get bombed."
Oh.
And we didn't know what was going on. So we went in, and then my parents were sitting there next to the radio. We had no TV back then, and listening to what happened with the beginning of the war. I'll never forget that day.
That's quite an important day to remember.
It certainly is.
The one I remember most was when Kennedy was shot.
Okay.
And I was in second grade, so that was the first one I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I know you met Dad at Penn when you were both in college there. How did you meet?
I picked him up. It was funny because I'd gone to an all-girls high school, so I didn't have a lot of boyfriends growing up. and teenagers. But my cousin Robert and he went to an all-boys prep school, so we'd get each other dates for different dances if we needed to go someplace. Robert would say, I need a girl that can dance well for a couple of hours. So I'd find some of my friends and put them together. But it was wonderful. But I'm glad Robert was such a good friend for me, though. But I met my husband when I was in college. I had been put on, the dean had asked me to be on several committees, and I was going into the college hall for a meeting. And I walked in, I was walking up, and there was a guy standing all alone outside the college hall, looking so scared. And I said, can I help you? And he said, I just got out of the Army. My friends have all graduated without me, and I don't know anybody anymore. And I said, well, come on and sit with me tonight. So he sat with me. He took me out for a drink afterward, even though I was too young to drink. And took me out for a drink, and we went out that weekend, and God, pretty soon we got married.
And what was your first date like? I don't know the answer to this, but what was your first date?
The first date was that one.
Okay, how about the second date?
I don't know.
Okay, then
I'm sure we did more.
So you have 6 kids.
I do.
So tell me a little bit about each of them.
You want me to say good things? Or
There's only good things to say, Mom.
There are? They're all perfect?
Yes, Mom. Especially
Even that one?
Especially the first one.
No, I'm lucky. As I said many times to people, I am one of the luckiest people I've ever known, because I had such good parents, good neighborhood, good husband, good children. I am very, very, very fortunate. So I have 6 children. The first one was Barbara. She was born about 9-10 months after we got married, and then a year later we had Andy, and then we had Michael. And then we had Mary Ellen, and then we had David, and then we had John, and they're all nice people today. We're very, very fortunate, very fortunate.
All right, so we moved to North Street in Medfield in 1965.
Okay.
You were pregnant with David.
Okay.
Why did you and Dad pick Medfield?
When we moved up here, the only town I knew in Boston area was Needham, because the boy I dated in college was from Needham. So I tried to find a house in Needham we could afford, and there was no way in this world we were going to be able to buy a house in Needham back all those years ago. So our real estate broker said, well, there's another town not too far away. They say it's going to be as good as Needham someday. So that's how we ended up in Medfield. Strictly luck.
I know you love the house on North Street. Why did you love that house so much?
Because it was such a happy house for us. I didn't like the traffic, of course, but the best thing about the house on North Street was we could walk to every place. I could walk to all the schools, every school our kids could walk to. They could walk downtown. They could walk to the police department if they wanted something. They could walk to the library. They could walk to playgrounds. It was a wonderful location to have, and that's why I loved it there. I really did. And my neighbors were unbelievably good. Really, really nice neighbors.
So what is one of your favorite memories of living in Medfield?
Oh, my God. I got so many good memories. Being elected selectman, that was pretty good.
Being selected, how many times were you elected selectman?
More than 10 years, more than 10 times I've been elected.
Okay, that makes sense.
It wasn't fun, but it was wonderful. No, I'm glad I did it.
So what do you think? Oh, go ahead.
It was very interesting because I never lived in a small town before. And to hear the way that small towns worked and how open government was, I thought it was wonderful. I wish federal government was as open as little local towns like Medfield, where the people didn't like a vote they made. They'd call me and say, why did you vote for that? Why did you do that? Why did you vote like that?
What do you think has changed the most about Medfield since you moved there?
Oh, it's grown. It's certainly bigger. It's more expensive. That's kind of too bad, but it is definitely more expensive. But I think most of the other towns are more expensive nowadays too. But I think that's the biggest change.
Is it for the better or for the worse?
I think it's good. I was on several of the committees there for housing and housing development and stuff, so I've had some control there. But very lucky.
What town events were your favorite?
Oh, my God. I liked all the kids' games, the soccer games, the football games, everything else. That was fun. I liked going to the school things. different things at schools, the play plays, and oh, it was just fun. It really was, getting involved with everything, and the neighbors, and the swim pond at Green Street. I hope that pond is still being used.
It is still being used.
I hope so, because I used to love it. And that was a big thing for my kids. If they wanted to go, if it was warm in school, they'd want to come home and want to go swimming. So but we had to work out a way to get you had to get your homework done too if you want to go to go swimming. So I get them to do some homework, and then we could walk over to Green Street. It was wonderful being, and where we lived in North Street, we could walk to so many other things in town that we wanted, and it was really important, I thought.
So if you were talking to somebody who was thinking about moving to Medfield, what would you tell them?
Yes, I'd say yes, yes, and invite me over.
And why would you say yes so enthusiastically?
Because I really, really fell in love with the town. And one of the best things about the town of Medfield, as my daughter probably knows, is a man named Mike Sullivan, who was, I used to write for the paper, newspaper, and the selectmen this is before I was on a major board. They were interviewing different people for this position of town administrator. And this guy walked in, was interviewed, and I thought, oh, God, he's too young and nice looking. What's he going to do? So they interviewed him, and I called to the selectman leader and said, hire that guy, because he was that good. That was Mike Sullivan.
So since Mike Sullivan has died, what would you tell people who are looking to move to Medfield now that would draw them to the town?
What's there now that's good?
Yeah, why would you tell people to move to Medfield now?
Personally, I like the small town feel. It's one of the first things I liked when I found Medfield. I had never lived in a small town before. And I'm not knocking Philadelphia, because I adored Philadelphia. It was wonderful. But I'd never lived in a small town, and I really fell in love with it. I liked the closeness of it, the fact that everybody knows everybody. They know where everybody knows where the supermarket is, and all that stuff was fun. That really was a good little town.
It still is. What legacy do you hope that you have left on the town of Medfield?
Honestly, I really tried to be very, very honest on every board I was on. I really did my very best to be a straight shooter. So that's what I hope they would remember, because I think almost all the different people I was on town boards were good too. And I think it's important to have. That's what's good about a small town. They can all see what you're doing. They can't hide very much in a small town. You're out open all the time. You're walking the dog. You're walking the kids. You're going to school, whatever. And so it's very open kind of government, and I think it's very healthy. I like that. And I'd be at the supermarket, and somebody would stop me and say, oh, about that vote you were talking about the other night. And I said, you want to talk about it? So we talk about it. It's good. No, you have to get a lot of opinions and different feelings of how people felt. I think it's good. Because if you're in a small town, you want to be part of the town. You don't want to be just sitting in town hall by yourself. You want to be out there. And that, to me, is the most important thing about being a selectman, is being out there and mixing in and getting to know all the people.
So in 10 years, what do you think the town will look like?
I don't imagine too much different. A little bit more development, I'm sure, as they do everywhere. But I hope it still looks good. I hope they still have the nice little schools there and the playgrounds there and the fields. State Hospital is the big question, of course. What's going to happen with the town?
It still is the big question in town.
It is. It's a huge question.
It's a huge question.
It is definitely big. But I'm curious to see what will happen in the future. Because the State Hospital is a very interesting place. I used to volunteer there all the time and visit patients that didn't have any family members. So I got to the point where the staff all knew me when they came in, and it was kind of good. So if they had any questions, they would ask me, and that was good. It was very good. But State Hospital was a very busy place for a long time.
It was.
Because I made employment in Medfield back for years. But it's a very good place, though.
I remember when they built Lord's department store.
Oh, yeah.
They they did it because of the size of the town, and it was a big enough size of the town, but what they didn't realize was half the people were from the State Hospital.
Yep, that's exactly what they were.
Yep.
I know, I remember that. That was funny that they didn't know that.
And how about all the dress sales down at the State Hospital?
Oh, I was on the committee. I was one of the ones that got involved in starting it. We were looking for ways to raise money for the patients that had gotten out of the hospital and didn't have any family members to lean on to back them up and help them along. So we decided to find a way to raise money, and we found some places where some of the stores, like locally, had things that never sold. And I thought, well, geez, how about if we take them and sell them for, instead of for $10, I'll sell them for a couple bucks. And different companies gave us the stuff. I made things that were left over or things that double ordered too much. And so we started. We got a whole committee going, state hospital committee, and it was wonderful because they were all wonderful. They all had to. The rule was if you worked at the state hospital sales, you could shop 15 minutes by yourself first and put everything in a bag and get ready. You're going to pay for it at the end, but you're going to have to you can get first shot. So a lot of people like to work at the hospital sale because they could get the clothes, they could go look around first. And so but some of the stuff was very, very good, really was.
Tell them about the red dresses, the fuchsia dresses with the pants and the blazer.
They call them State Hospital Magenta. That's what they called it.
And everybody at church wore them at the same time.
We tried to make it mainly not just for church, but for the main thing was for the Tuesday nights meetings. If we're having some kind of a committee meeting, we say, "Well, wear your State Hospital Magenta," and they would wear it. But they were silk though. They were nice outfits. And I think we only paid a couple of bucks a piece for each one. With their shirts and blouses and jackets. But we had thousands, and I've forgotten how many thousands of pieces there were of that State Hospital Magenta. But they were all over the place, and we sold them all. I'm really glad. We made some good money. And some of the patients, years later, thanked us all because what they had a chance of doing, they got a chance to go to a school. They got a chance to take some training for different some things. And they were so grateful that we had that. And I'm so grateful to the people who gave us all those clothing and things we could sell.
Yep.
It was fun to be on the sale committee. Very nice. I liked it.
So what didn't you tell us about your life growing up and living in Medfield? We know about all your roles in town government, but what else didn't I ask you about?
In Medfield, you mean, or in Philadelphia?
Both. Either.
Good places, though. I really was very, very fortunate. I keep thinking, my sister and I often think we were two of the luckiest sisters in the world because we had such wonderful parents. We lived in a solid middle-class neighborhood. We weren't rich, but we had plenty of money, never had to worry about money. We're very, very lucky. So I count my blessings every day.
And how was the transition from a big city to a small town?
Interesting. Very different, though. But I lived in a part of Philadelphia called Chestnut Hill and Mount Airy, and they were almost like an individual little town because they were up in the northwest corner of the city. And so we had kind of our own little community there in Chestnut Hill or Mount Airy. So we had our own little place, too, but it was wonderful. I love Philadelphia very much.
So think about when you were first selectman. Mm-hmm. What was it like? What were the big issues at that time? Who else were selectmen with you?
Well, the biggest issue when I was elected selectman was being a woman. There had been only one other woman there before, Sandy Munson. She only stayed for a couple of years, and then she moved out of town. She just dismissed the town totally. So it was very different. So trying to build up their trust in women on different town boards took a while. But I think they trusted me because they kept electing me again and again, so I loved it.
Do you remember what big issue the town was facing when you were first selectman?
A lot of issues for the state hospital.
Even back then?
Oh, yeah.
What state hospital issues were there?
The traffic going back and forth to the hospital was a big one. The amount of time I was an EMT in the local ambulance squad, and so we spent a lot of time up in Medfield, too, Medfield State Hospital, very much. So a lot of different issues that some people resented that, but they shouldn't. We're lucky but didn't have to live in the state hospital. We're very lucky. Why
did you run for selectman so many times?
Because I'm crazy.
There's got to be a better reason than that.
I have to tell the truth, I enjoyed it. I really did. I worked hard at it, but I did enjoy it. I did a lot of background, and I'm glad some of the other selectmen didn't have any interest in the town. In fact, one of them didn't have any children in school. So if you don't have a child in school, you miss a whole part of the town, because I think that's important, to be part of the school and the town and all that, the fields, the football team, all that stuff. So I think that's very important to be part of the town, being involved in different things if you're a selectman, not just sitting in town hall on Tuesday night for meetings, but being out there and getting involved, getting your hands into things. I think it's very, very important.
And why did you stop being a selectman?
My eyesight got so bad. I was having a lot of trouble reading the material. Our secretary used to type everything up extra big for me, and even then I had trouble reading it. And so that she would type all the material up early and give it to me before the meetings. So I'd spend hours going through all the papers with the large print, trying to get to all the stuff, but I couldn't get to it all. So I felt I wasn't informed enough because of that, because of my eyesight. And that was it.
I know one of your favorite volunteer activities in town was the Lions Club.
Oh, I still like it.
And why? Why did you become a Lion, and why do you still like it?
I became a Lion because a friend of mine invited me, and he said the truth. There had only been one other Medfield Lion who was a woman, and she didn't last very long. And he said, I'm not sure if people would accept you. But if he said, I really would like to see you join the Lions Club if you were interested. And I kind of like the Lions Club. I like what the things they did. And they never tried to make a big deal of themselves as individuals. They did it for the club, for people. So I decided, sure, I'd like to join the Lions Club. But it was fun because, as I said, there were no other women in there then. And I went to the old meeting hall, and the guys were all sitting around the tables, and I went and sat down with a group of men at the table, and they all got up and left. And I thought, what's wrong? And they said, because this is a men's club. It had always been a men's club for them. There weren't any women there. So I said, well, I think I'm going to stay anyway. So I decided to stay anyway. And finally, one of them came back over and apologized. He said he was sorry. And then some of the others came over, and they apologized too. So then after that, a few other women joined a couple years later, so it was good. So we were a club for everybody, not just for men. But I really felt bad for the men because they wanted a men's group only. And I can understand that. Be like a man trying to get into my knitting group.
Can you explain about the mission of the Lions Club?
I wish I could remember the formal. Do you remember the formal mission? I can't remember.
We serve. Is the
I know
logo?
That,
but is the?
There used to be a formal sentence. What we're going to do.
It's the world's largest service organization. I'm a Lion as well, and there's 8 planks that we focus on. Eye research is one of them. Helen Keller was an early member of the Lions Club.
Yeah, that I know.
Yep. And we support a lot of community activities.
That's what I like, the overall look. They got involved in all different things. But I hope it still goes on. I hope it does.
It does. So if Medfield had a time capsule, what would you put in it?
A key to town hall.
A key to town hall?
Would be good. Old pictures of the town years ago, because there's some good memories there. The old churches, the old schools. They're really important, I think. I really like them. Because my old church, my old church used to be across from town hall. And it was great because if I had a church meeting, I could leave right across Main Street and go right over to the church mill and leave town hall. It was wonderful.
What other objects do you think you'd put in the time capsule?
What would I put in there? I put a Lions Club pin in there. I put some of the sports memorabilia. I put something in sports. The soccer team was so big when I grew up. Football, I was wonderful. The kids like that. I like to put in some stuff about the different schools too, because they were a very big part of our town. The schools, they were. I hope they still are. I hope so.
Are there any other pictures you would put in?
Beside a picture of me?
Of course, a picture of you.
I'm teasing. No, I definitely would like to see the pictures go in, though. I really would.
Any people you'd like to have pictures of put in the time capsule?
Well, Mike Sullivan, for one. Very much. And then some of my old selectmen friends, Harry Kelleher, some of them, he went back a long time. I don't know if any of you remembers Harry Kelleher, but his wife was a good friend of mine. We played bridge together, and Harriet was very, very nice. And he had all these boys. I think he had 6 boys, didn't he?
Yep.
6. But he was a good man, a good friend. He was good. And I liked most of the selectmen. There were a few I didn't. Yeah.
So, Mom, that's all the questions that we officially have. Are there any last-minute thoughts or things that you want to say, either probably about Medfield that we haven't covered before?
The thing I most remember in Medfield was that warm feeling, that warm, small town feeling. Even when I was brand new in town, didn't know anybody in New England, didn't know anybody, and they were welcoming, they were warm, and I thought, this is a town to be a town. This is a wonderful town. That's why I fell in love with the place. People were wonderful. And I hope it will always stay that way. I hope so. If I ever move back, I'm going to run for selectman again. That's a warning. But I wish you had. I tried very hard to find something to do at the state hospital for people like me that need senior living and need more assistance. I thought the state hospital would have been a good place for us, but it didn't work out. I wasn't a voter in Medfield anymore at that point, so I couldn't do much. But I think I would have very much liked to have seen something like that in the town of Medfield to take care because it wouldn't just draw on. The reason I liked it at the state hospital was it wouldn't just draw on the town of Medfield. It'd draw on Dover, Sherburne, Millis, Norfolk, Medway. I mean, they'll all be there. Walpole, they're all right there, close by. And a good location, for those of you that haven't been up at the state hospital, it's up on a hill. When you used to stand in the main building at the state hospital, you could stand there on the second floor and you could see clear into towns all across. It was wonderful. And I like that feeling. You're a part of a community all around you. There are all kinds of things going on. And that's a wonderful thing of a small town. I just love it. I think I kind of like the town. I think you know that.
What role did the senior center play for you?
I was working most of the time, so it was there. It was nice to have it there. But I didn't use it as much as some people because I was still working. But I thought it was wonderful to have it there. I really, very definitely like it.
And when you retired, what role did it play?
When I retired, what?
When you retired, what role did it play?
Probably a bigger role then. But I didn't want. I would have liked to stay working for the rest of my life if I could have, if my eyesight had gone. I really wish I could have worked more. But it was wonderful because they have the senior center has activities there. They have different groups that you can join. They have places. They have a bus that'll take you around. If you want to get around, you can call them, and the bus will come pick me up and take me where I want to go, shopping, whatever. It's wonderful. So having the senior center is a very good thing for older people. Not that I'm old, but I am old. I am old.
And where are you living now, Mom? I know the answer to this, but where are you living now?
I'm now living in Benchmark Forge Hill. It's more than assisted living. It's for senior living, and it's got medical people full time around the clock. Always somebody there. The food is delivered, cooked for you. All you have to do is walk down to the dining room, and there you get your dinner, your breakfast, your lunch, whatever. And they have entertainments that come in periodically, and they're good too. So it's really good. I met some nice people there. I really have some good friends.
And that's in Franklin. And tell them about Chris. Who is Chris?
Who is Chris? Chris is my friend. He's the best man I met in Medfield, in Franklin. He was lonely too, and I was lonely when I moved down to Franklin. I didn't know anybody, and he was lonely too. And we just hit it off. And he's been a wonderful friend for me. He's been there because I can't read anymore, and he will read the daily schedule for me. He'll read different things. He'll read the Daily Chronicle, tell me what's going on in the past. It's wonderful to have somebody like that can help me. But I'm going to have a little bit of coffee. How's that? That sound good? Cheers.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Voices of Medfield, brought to you by the MFI Legacy Fund. Matt Monroe is our editor, Damon Blankenship is our multimedia manager, and our producer and host is me, Katie Duvall. If you'd like to be featured on this show, you can email us at info@medfield.tv or DM us on Facebook or Instagram at Medfield TV. You can listen to this and future episodes on Medfield TV's cable, YouTube, and Podbean channels. Subscribe and share with someone who calls Medfield home, and help us keep these stories alive. Until next time, thank you for listening to Voices of Medfield.